just like that, we have all of our parts out for pages 14, 15, and 16 of the Ukrainian Dream. We start off, like our last build, working on gears and making some really serious bend choices. Actually, I shouldn't say we work on gears right away. We're going to be working on the fuselage, or I should say the main part of our Ukrainian Dream. Now, I'm going to look at this real quickly. All of the lines here kind of need to be bent in some way. I'm assuming the ones here at the very bottom just need a small bend, and then these guys here need a slightly bigger bend. Now we can take a look at some of these other parts here and take a gauge about where they're going to go and see how the actual area is formed. And we can see how the area is formed if we put it in here and line it up. This is a great way to make sure we're doing everything the right way. But what I'm going to do first is try to get everything kind of in the right direction. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this started. The best thing that we can do, I think, because everything that I have here, even my bender tool, won't be able to reach this far in, I don't think. So I think the best thing we can do, even with these pliers, they're not going to make it either. I could use these bigger ones, but I don't think they're going to be strong enough to do what I want them to do. So I think the best option is to use the best tool that we have, which is our mat. So I'm going to put this like, I'm going to move you just slightly the other way, my friend. And I'm going to put you down here, and then I go right to the center, and I'm going to give a little bend there. Okay, I'm going to try to be as even as I can all the way across this. There we go. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Actually, you know what? Let's do one side at a time. What we can do is kind of try to get about-ish the right shape, and then we can use the other parts to kind of help us get a better shape. I think that's the best way to approach this. Let's go. The best way, too, is to try to keep in mind in your head where you are in the shaping. I know not everybody can think in 3D. I tend to, and I think that's why I really like 3D art, and I like working in 3D programs, especially like with clay programs, or even working in this kind of fashion. I think because paper models and things like that, I can see how they're bent in my head. Being able to take that out of my head and bring it into life is a really cool thing. I think that's also probably maybe why you're here too. But trying to visualize where we're going is super important. Sorry for that little tangerine. That's not bad. Now again, we're just trying to make sure that every little kind of line here has a little bend in it. And I'm not entirely too sure that I got that one done. So I'm going to go down the middle here and just try my best to really press in there and just massage the metal into place. Woosah. Woosah. Again, we're making some serious bend choices here. This is crazy. But I try to go as slow as possible, and then when I get around the right shape, I kind of then work a little bit more. You know, metal's really forgiving here, and with the scoring that they've done with this model, it actually isn't too bad to get the right shape. That didn't take too long, and we definitely need to fold more. Like, it's definitely need to come up a lot more, but we're on the right track, I think, and that is good. I think that's great, actually. Wow. Okay. You know, I'm proud of us. Let's continue on here, guys. This looks like it's supposed to marry up something like this, and then this here gets bent. Okay, yeah, there's a little ledge there. Let's get right in there. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Call the doctor. Call the doctor. There we go. I'm just kind of going back and forth here. I accidentally bent that one little piece there out of shape. I'm not too proud of myself. I'm kind of disappointed in myself, to be totally honest. But we need to actually bend these guys in as well. I'm not entirely too sure how much to bend this, though. So I'm going to come in here like this, and I'm going to bend it like that. I think eventually this comes over like this. Yes, it does. And then this will come in like this, and we'll go down. But right now, we're just kind of trying to match up the details there, and they look good. Let's do the same thing for the side here. Okay. Again, we're just mimicking. We're mimicking both here. And if we overbend it, that's okay. We can always bend it back. Yeah, all right. I think we're okay for right now. I think we can start putting some stuff on the inside. So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing we're gonna do is grab this piece right here. It's the most skinniest piece, and it's kind of hard to keep in shape. So if yours is a little bit warped, don't worry. Mine is a little bit too. I think that once we put the engines on here and get the wings all together, there should be enough things holding this in place that everything should stay in line. So if it's a little bit out of shape, don't worry too much, okay? Now we're gonna go right to the very back here, and we're gonna just kind of insert this like that. Now you can see how much more we actually need to bend this. Again, we're just starting it. You can see that right there on the side, but you get an idea about what we did. It looks like our bottom here might be a little bit too narrow, so we might need to flatten out that bottom a little bit, but that's okay, because we can do that by taking our, well, I'll do that with my big thumb here, but if you have some smaller digits, you can take your time, maybe use 2 thumbs like this and bring her out just a little bit, okay? Like that. Not bad. Now these guys here at the bottom, they actually all get pushed to the back. So I'm still not really happy though with how that bottom's looking. So I think I'm gonna massage it out again a little bit more. Again, that's why we start off with an idea, and there we go. That looks way better. Then we can actually work the pieces the way we need them to actually go. Okay. We definitely will probably have to come back here to the tail and do some work. But right now, this looks pretty good. Let's add a couple more pieces on. Okay. The front here definitely needs some more bending. And I don't want to warp it, so I'm trying really hard to like keep consistent, but it's such a big piece, so it's kind of hard to keep consistent. Do one of these, come in to the side like this. It's okay if we scratch the inside because no one sees the inside. All right. Okay, so now we're here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bend this tab down here first. Okay. Being very careful, trying not to scratch the bottom of our model. That would be a bad thing. Now what we do is actually just attach the engines. It's gonna be a little bit loose, and that's okay. We're going to continue to add things on here, and like I said, things will kind of come together, so don't worry if things are a little bit loosey-goosey at the moment. Everything will be better, don't worry. Let's grab one of our little pieces from earlier here. There we go. And we're going to have this, which is the gear. We're going to have it going into the small side here first. We're going to carefully get these through. We're not going to force them. What we need to do is we need to get that little gear here all the way through. Mine is a little crooked, it looks like, so we're going to try to fix that. And of course, once we get that fixed, it goes right in. Actually, it's still a little crooked. Let's see if we can make that a little better. There we go. And once all the way to the back, it spins pretty freely. We may have to do a little bit of work yet to be able to get that 100% going, but we'll see here. It's a little bit weird with how that gear is constructed. It has like those pins, and because the pin's not fully inserted, it kind of wants to come apart. But again, I feel like once we put the whole engine together, it won't want to do that. And so I'm not too worried about it right now. Like this. There we go. We got the one in there. That was not as easy as I thought it was going to be totally honest. I was expecting that to be a lot easier. Let's also take another look at these here as well to make sure that they're as shaved down as they need to be. And I'm actually going to do a little bit more work on this and watch it fall apart. Okay, that looks really smooth. So hopefully this should go in with little trouble this time. Oh man, I was able to actually file that the entire time and didn't have that fall apart. But of course, when I go to place it in place, it falls apart. All right, go like this. Throw her in. Oh yeah, that's way easier. Okay, so that tells me that this one here might need to be filed down a lot more. And again, this shows you right here, you have to have your pieces filed down properly or they just won't work. And that's unfortunate for me, but that's okay. It's a quick little fix there. Let's do this real quickly with our little tab here. All right, that looks good. The engine here turns freely. This one here turns freely too. Actually, it might be okay. I just, for the easeability, I like things to work really seamlessly. So I won't be able to leave that, and I know I won't. But I'll come back to it though. I will come back to it. So let's continue on here. The next thing we're going to be doing is adding the second biggest pieces. And again, we're following the same kind of trend. We're taking the little pieces here that have a little dot. That's where the little tiny piece here on the back of our gear goes. So we're going to make sure that that goes in first. These might become harder as we come to the front of this. Let's go like here. Okay. Now, where are you? Okay, I see you. Right in the middle there. I have to get the other little tiny tab in there. I know it may not be the best view for you, and I'm sorry. I'm trying really hard to please everybody and also get this built at the same time. Okay, we are in place. We just gotta get the upper tabs in there, and they're in the right place. We actually just gotta form the metal a little bit more. Before we do that though, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is grab this one and put it in place too, just because they're so close. The next ones are a little bit more spaced out too, so it might be all right, but these guys are close. You know what? Let's go ahead and put them all in. This way we don't have to keep stressing the metal. We can only have to do it this one last time. So again, same thing. These ones go in so much easier because the front is nowhere near as much formed as the back is. And I say that and I have a really hard time getting it in place. It's like, oh yeah? Watch me give you a hard time. Okay, let me push you down like these. Get a little bit more of a feeling in there like that. Okay. I maybe should have secured the bottom just because it would have kept them somewhat in place, but I like to make things really difficult on myself. I try to do this. And the thing is, I've never said I am good at building these models. The thing is, guys, if I can build them, you can build them too. And that's the whole thing. I want you to feel like when you're watching this, if you're having a difficult time, I hope I leave a little bit. I usually leave a lot of my struggles in here just because I want you to see that, you know, I have a hard time too. I usually leave some of my struggles in here just because, you know, I like you guys to see that I have a hard time too. The bottom is still a little narrow. I think that's the problem, is I overbent the bottom. The thing is, it gave a little bit of a deception because you don't really need to bend the bottom that much. So if I was to do this again, I probably wouldn't bend this piece here at the bottom at all, or even just give it even less of a bend, because you really don't need to bend it that much. This little crease here doesn't really need to be there. It must be some kind of detail for later on down the road, like a, you know, like a detail as in something you can look at, provides a little bit of definition. Let's see. Okay. All right. Now that we got these kind of ish in the right place, we can start to like push things and get them in the right spot. So first, what I want to do is I want to push these guys like this. Okay. Just trying to get started on these a little bit. This way they don't move around a whole lot. They're still going to move around. Like, they're still going to move around until I get this completely done. But but they will stay in place. Now let's just, or at least stay in place a little bit better than they were before. Now we can put this guy down here like that. Come back here. and insert our little engines. Okay. Once we put these gears in place, I'm gonna go back to the center there and get that looking really nice. But for right now, we're just about trying to get this. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe not. We might have to resort to doing the center first and then working our way to the engines. I don't like dealing with floppy metal, and we're getting a lot of floppy metal. Pushing here, pushing here. Okay. Trying to get a little bit better shaping here in the center. And I'm just trying to even it all out, really. I want everything to look about the same. And it looks like these pieces here in the front really just don't like me very much. And I think it's because, again, it all comes back down to, it looks like the bottom is really still the biggest problem. So let's just turn this again upside down, putting a lot of pressure on it. And what we're going to do this time, I'm going to do this, is we are going to secure these tabs the best we possibly can. I am putting a ton of pressure on the center here in the attempt to try my best and get all of these tabs bent down. I normally don't bend all of these the same way. However, the instructions here do tell us to do this, so I'm assuming it's for a reason. It's probably just more for aesthetic. That guy came out, but that's okay. All right. Now that we have that sorted a little bit, we can finally get back to putting this gear in place. Oh my gosh, that's going to be so annoying. Let's put this gear in place here. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Normally I can get those tabs right on the money, and that one I just missed. Okay. Those did not stay in place. That's annoying, because I tried really hard to bend them in a way that they would. That's so annoying. I'll try to lock them again in place, but I don't think it's going to happen until I get more bendy up here. Yeah, like that. Okay, that's better. Now I'll go back to this side here, watch it pop open again. Bloop. And now, another gear. Let's fast forward to where I have all the gears in place. Okay. That is looking pretty sweet. Now we can insert the gears amongst the inside. Now normally you kind of want to do this beforehand, but because the top here is still very movable, I felt pretty comfortable being able to wait till this moment to do this. So we're going to start with the smaller one towards the back. That's this little guy right here. And I'm just going to do a double check here. It's a little loose. I don't know if I can actually make that any stronger though than it already is. About as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so we're gonna take this right here and we're gonna place this on the bottom. The little washer here is gonna go towards the front. So let's see if we can get this in here first. Alrighty. We are so very close. Oh, there we go. And she's in place just like that. I knew it wouldn't take that much. Just took a little bit of stress and then we got her in there. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Everything's still in place, so we're good there. Let's continue on. The next thing we're going to be doing is attaching this little bit of a bigger gear. And this is going to go through the center and it's going to come into the other side. So let's see. I might have to spread eagle this a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. Yeah, don't do what I did. Don't be a silly goose. Okay. The holes all kind of blend in at this very moment in time because the metal is so reflective of itself. It's kind of hard to see. Ooh. Are you kidding me? I could have gone any other way the entire time. My silliness. Oh my goodness. There we go. Yeah. Woo. That. Got that in there. Looking pretty good. And now we need to put a gear on top here. This is our step 9 here. Place that right at the bridge on either side. There we go. And again, once these are fully seated and we kind of bring everything into place, this should fit really nicely together. There we go. Awesome. Now, let's see something quickly here. Oh, it turned so well. Oh, I'm so happy. That's so great. Okay, we're doing really good so far. I had no resistance on that gear. And now that we got this kind of finished, we can put it down for a moment and begin working on these other pieces. These guys here are pretty simple. We're going to be building some more supports and adding a little bit back onto our tail. Finally, hopefully stabilizing that whole area. We start off with this big guy here, and we can see that we have a little tab that goes onto the front end, or what I'm going to deem to be the front end. And then we get a whole bunch of these parts. Now, it's kind of important to understand which one's which, and if you look at them, you can kind of see markings on them to know which one needs to go where. And if you need to, don't take all of your pieces out at once. You can kind of wait till the end and take them out as you need them. Just make sure, again, that they are filed down. Okay, I'm going to bend this guy this way. I'm going to bend this guy this way. There we go. Excellent. Excellent. Now we can put another little piece here on the front. Again, keeping in mind which ones are which. This one goes right to the back here. These guys are virtually the same piece. When it comes to the other ones, you want to keep them in mind about which one was which. That one was a lot better than the other one. This one's very secure. This one's a little wobbly. Again, it won't really matter in a few moments, but I do like to keep my pieces pretty secure. It's okay. Let's move on to this next little bit here. That. Oops, I actually forget to put a bit of detail there on the bottom. Let's see if we can get them in without too much trouble. I think I might find myself in trouble though with these guys. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this apart. All right, now we can go ahead and form this little piece here. This one here is pretty easy to do. We just need to fold up our sides. I'm actually gonna use my flat pair here. Go right down to about here. And we're gonna make this flat. And there we go. Grab this little front piece here, same thing. We're gonna bend this down. And then we're gonna bend it back. So like this. And bend it back just a little bit more. Once you get past that one little piece there, it becomes a lot easier to bend it back and down into place. Grabbing the top of it, there we go. See, now we're over that little hump. Or I should say we're over the 90 degrees, and now we just need to bend it back. We did get some tool marks, unfortunately. These guys here might have a little burr on them. But there we go. Nice and flat. A little marked up, but not too bad. I don't think we're gonna see this, so it's okay. But anyway, this piece here is now gonna go into the front. Getting this third tab in here is really hard. That, and we're gonna go to the other side. Same thing. Twist it, just like that. Now, whoa, oh no. That happens, don't worry guys, don't worry. Again, we can pretty much fix everything, so when things like that happen, it's not that big of a deal. Now we're going to take this right here and we're going to twist it this way, actually. Let's take it, twist it. Okay, now to fix that horrible mistake we just had, we're going to grab our little flat pair here and we're just going to do this. Boom, 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 like that. And it's like it never happened. Yay! It looks good now. I mean, pretty good. This little guy here at the front, though, I think needs to be up. So we're going to do this. Okay, that looks pretty good. I also opened this up and make sure I had 2 of these guys in here. So the only thing that we have to do down here now is just kind of take these tabs and bend them either way. Now to start this, I'm going to take my pointy tweezers here. Actually, there we go. And I got the one I need. Okay, bend it down, nice and flush. Same thing with this side here, nice and flush. What I find is if you kind of come in at an angle and pull, you'll actually separate them pretty easily. There we go. Just like that. These ones actually go down really easily, and I think it's because they're just really simple small bits of metal there for these tabs. Either way, we have our big piece there facing the correct way. We have everything looking pretty good here now. We need to go ahead and move on to the next step, which is putting everything inside of here. Now keep in mind, we haven't actually connected any of these pieces except for on the bottom, so we can still kind of open this up if we need to put any of these things in here. What I'm going to do, I don't know if I want to start in by the back here or if I want to start in the front. I think what I'm going to do is go for the front first, and that looks something like this. Is it easier? Oh yeah. I don't like the sound of it, but it works. It seems like the front here, I did not do a good job on the forming part of it. Now we got those bottom pieces in, we can try to get these guys in the right place. And once we get these guys, once we get everything kind of lined up, we can start putting pressures and get all of everything and get everything kind of shaped properly. But until then, we kind of have to force everything. And keep in mind, we don't want to accidentally like kind of warp these pieces here in the center. So take your time with this bit here. Take your time. I think it might be best for me to focus like that. Okay. I went ahead and secured the bottom ones here just to kind of keep this in place. I made sure to press really hard. And now all we need to do is just kind of shape this. And it's important to make sure that all of our wings are kind of lined up for this part. So, you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to the back here and try to get these guys in place. And then once that's all done, we can push everything again and get it all in there and secure all the tabs like we need to. But it's really important to make sure that everything is in the proper spot and that the actual fuselage here is nice and shaped properly too. Again, it is kind of hard to get that big thing into the right shape, so I can definitely see why this is marked on the harder side of the kits, if you will. Alright, let's move this here. I'm going to go like this. This one, that metal on metal sound is horrendous. Okay, now I know we're supposed to wait. Woo! Careful. I know we're supposed to wait. What we're gonna do here right now is just get these guys really nice and connected. Okay, we can go back later and we can change the direction. We can even lay these flat if we want to, but for right now, we're gonna keep them completely twisted like it says in the instructions. Okay. So we're gonna do this, like this, come to the other side. And again, as I'm doing this, I am putting a lot of pressure on this. That's because I want the best connection possible. And now we're down here. These ones we bend down. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go with the rest of them and how they're all bent this way. Okay, so grab them. 1, 2, 3. There's actually 4 of them. And then we press down. Oh man, I'm getting all these little scratches here. I'm not liking that at all. All right, now that we got that, we can put this flat for a moment and grab this little tiny piece and put this into the back. Okay. Yeah. All right. 1, 2. 3, 4. We did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Okay. Now we're going to twist you. And we're going to twist you. But you two are going to be pushed down. And you're going to be folding towards the back like the other ones. 1, 2. Cool. All right. We did it. We secured the back. Now we can get back to the front and the rest of this plane. So I think the best thing for us to do at this case here is just to kind of work our way from the the back all the way to the front. And by compressing everything, we can slowly get everything into the right place. Now, I don't know if we should actually secure the plane as we go or if we should wait until everything's in its place. I'm going to adapt that strategy as we go. I just want to make one more little run here at the instructions. Yep, I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to do blasphemy here. So you can see 15.3. So it's putting everything in place. And then 4 is going through and securing all the pieces. So you can see that right here on the side as well, where you go through and kind of shape and bend. All the green ones here are going to be folded down. The red ones are twisted. So knowing that, we can do what I said. We can go right to the back here, kind of work these in place. There we go. It won't take much because we've really kind of worked them already. Ooh. My gear fell out though. We're gonna fix that. Okay, putting a lot of pressure on this front here. I'm gonna start doing these like this. Okay. There we go. Again, pressure on this one here. A little turn. Come back to this side, same thing, little turn. Okay, that is in. I'm not really happy with this. I think I might have to do a little bit more work. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, again, I think that the issue came down to me having such a hard time with this because of the fact that my main body wasn't really formed correctly. So if anything, what we've learned here is to kind of take your time with that forming of the main body to make everything a lot easier for you when you put everything together. Now that we've reached here though, we can continue on and we can get into the gears. And my friends, this part here might be a little bit frustrating depending on how all this goes together. For the most part though, it looks like it will be okay. We might have to work on the squaring of everything. We'll see how that goes down, but for the most part, it really does look like everything's going to line up quite nicely here. Okay, let's begin. Now keep in mind, we have part 9, which is the bigger gears. We have the smaller ones here. These are steps 10. They're indicated by the red little marks there on your screen. And finally, we have these little ones. This is step 11. And we need to make sure that all these kind of go exactly where they need to go. Now, there are patterns we're going to follow, and I'm going to do my best here to teach you and show you how I'm going to assemble this. And hopefully, once we put everything in the right place, this will move very freely, and that's the goal. We want this to move with no issue whatsoever. If there's any issue, we're gonna have to look at it and figure out if we gotta file something or move it on or whatever we need to do. Okay, let's get started with the right wing here. The right wing, we start by putting a gear right down, or I should say right below. Whoa. I went right into it. It wants to go in place right away. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I had to bring it in a little bit closer to me to get that gear into place. It wasn't really hard to do. It's just sometimes it's really hard to actually like put these things together when you're so far away from it. Having to do this on camera can be a little complicated. At home, that was really just as simple as opening it up, placing it in there, and then closing it. But not this piece, but just putting it in place. I will show you how to do it through other parts. Just didn't want you to think I cheated on that first little bit there. With like some kind of like crazy super glue. Now it's important to make sure that all the backs here are going towards the back. Every time you place one of these guys in here, it just gets a little bit more complicated because you kind of have to not only get the gear in place, but you got to satisfy, like you're satisfying 3 different connections at once. You have to put the gear into its ratio, and then you also have to secure it into its place. Oh my gosh. There we go. Same thing. Make sure that your connecting edges go to the back. The first thing we need to do is get this one back in place. Okay. You know what, sir? You need to wait. What I'm doing is kind of opening this and keeping one side pressured. If I push the one gears to the one side that I'm opening, it gives it a lot more room so they don't all fall out again like we had before. So kind of try to keep that in mind when you're doing this. I won't be surprised if you are trying to juggle gears and they come out a few times. Just don't get discouraged. Take a break if you need to, okay? Kind of goes like this. There we go. And actually, before we totally secure that into place, let's open this like this again, and we're actually going to get the other gears all on the bottom, because honestly, we're building the entire right wing at this point. But once you kind of do this, you repeat it multiple times. Let's go to where I actually have all the bottom gears in place, just because we know it's going to be finicky as heck, and then we can cut to where we're just adding these on. Maybe it's best if I go from the back first. I've had more success with that. Okay. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And I think, for the most part, it turns pretty good. Again, I think that once we get these guys kind of tightened up, it'll work even better. But now we need to put bigger gears in here, and these ones are going to connect, I think, into the main system. And then once we do that, we just got to do the other set of wings. Ooh, these ones might be a little bit more difficult because they have everything inserted already. Oh my gosh, this is going to be... This one's going to be really difficult. I'm going to have to open it from, I think, this side here and do a whole thing. This is going to be an interesting challenge. With this one, I actually started working on my way outward. I think with the next one, I'm going to work my way from here on. And I wonder if that will make things easier or make things harder. I got to be careful not to lose my other gears. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, but I got the other one out. I knew that was gonna happen. We got one gear in, and then the next one came out, and watch, I'm gonna have to go down the line. No, I actually stayed in pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Still moving pretty good. Still moving pretty good. Okay, last gear for the right wing. Let's put it in here. But yet, so far away. There we go. We got the right wing's gears in place. Now we just need to do the left gear here. If I turn this bottom gear, these should all turn. Okay, so there's definitely some resistance here, but again, I think the resistance is more or less coming from these guys down here on the engines. I think the engines might be doing it. I might take them out before we finish the completion of the engines and just file them all down. But before we do that, we got to complete the other side, and it's exactly the same. So instead of showing you exactly how I'm going to do that, we're going to use some YouTube magic and fast forward till I get to this little spot right here, which I know that we might have some problems with. So let's fast forward to that right now. Whoop. All right, and there we go. We have our other side of our wing complete, and it does move pretty well. I do see that it does get hung up in a few places, mainly right here, it looks like, right inside of these little areas here. Now, we did actually go through and file them all. I filed them again, but it still seems to get hung up a little bit. I'm assuming that once we put the engines together, there's a little bit more weight on it, that this whole mechanism will work a little bit better. I'm at least hoping so. That being said, though, outside of that, it also seems to be getting hung up a little bit on these pieces right here. Don't forget that there's big ones and small ones. That's very important, and ensure that they go in the right spot. I made double sure that everything is in the right spot here, but again, just make sure that yours are in the correct area here. And you can see that I get a lot of movement through here. The little bottom gears is actually what moves everything, but you can see that this one isn't moving. So again, I don't know if there's a little bit of an issue there. We're going to find out a little bit later once we put everything together. I'm really hoping for the best, though.